So the person, I wasn't gonna say their name, I'm gonna say it because I personally, I haven't thought to have anything against them, but I think how I act and how I carry myself, they feel like maybe it's something about me, like I guess like thinking I'm mean or something like that. So my first duty station was Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Um, I did have a situation where they asked me did I want to file restricted or unrestricted, and because I was young and the person tried to, he was, how young guys are, tried to come at me, but I wasn't even at the time, the way I was dressed and stuff, I wasn't thinking that I would be anybody to so-called try to come at, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. And that's like kind of like when I got situated like in the barracks over by the PX, like I didn't cry about it. I just thought it was weird because like he wasn't. I was like, hey, what's up or whatever like that. Like how was like like they were going out and then coming back that afternoon. And I was like, yeah, when you come back, just tell me how it is. But I didn't think they were really going to come by. And I didn't think that I was anybody, to be interested. I was just looking at them like, like a homeboy, not like anybody, like nothing. But anyways, fast forward, I ended up getting an NCO. I ended up working in the orderly room in 100 BSB. Her name was Felicia Mendez. She already had a daughter. I had kept in contact with her up until right before I got out the Army at Fort Hood, off and on, not too much. Because I don't like bothering people that have families. So anyways, when I was at Fort Sill, like she was calling me a lot. And I guess it's because maybe her experience in the military and different things that, happened around now that I had been in the Army for a long time. And it kind of irritated me, so I wouldn't answer my phone. And then I guess the soldier like crashed in a soldier, Raven Nicole Lane. At the time, I didn't know anything about a rental car. Already finished up. I had went to court about that already. But Felicia, or Sergeant Mendez, she just did little things that at the time, because of rank, I kind of just brushed it off because I was like, at the end of the day, this is a job. And when it's time for me to leave work, I'm leaving. Like, I'm not out there causing no ruckus, causing no problems or anything like that. And then, I guess because I wasn't infatuated with guys did try to like get with me and stuff like that, but I didn't take them serious because, they were young. I was young. I definitely wasn't thinking about getting married or anything like that. So I took a job in Houston and I didn't do a good job. And I ended up leaving that job. And I think Felicia was saying something to me on the phone. I think I was just tired. I was hot. It was something. And I was just like, it's not that she did anything, but it just, I was just like, it was a lot of drama, just like a lot of unnecessary drama around me as far as like me getting situated and, like, whoever, like I said, whoever came up with this game plan because people trying to make me feel guilty once again because I don't have kids, or thinking that I don't like kids, or thinking like, why haven't I, like they basically like somebody being funny when I got with Pete when I was at, when I lived in Temple, Texas. I guess he was just like, put it like giving, like trying to like be funny, like put in front of me like, oh, he's a doctor, he has his shorts down to his pants, he's European, like. And if I had known that, nothing against Pete, I would have never even started talking to him. I hope that he wasn't in a relationship. I hope that he wasn't married or anything prior to me meeting him, because people tried to make me seem like I am like I'm like in the South they say you're being fast, like opening up your legs fast, or being promiscuous. And I'm like, I had all these people like watching me and monitoring me. And, I just was like, if I had known that this was happening all along, and the women thought it was funny because not even my own family members like pulled me inside and said, Chandra, like, we would like to see you be married. We would like to see you settle down. Or asked me like, could you see yourself settling down or see yourself with anybody? And then, just saying like low-key derogatory things to me that, just basically trying to make me seem like you're trying to walk around and act like you're so innocent. And I'm like, all y'all had to do was just be straight up with me, because I'm not going to tell you anything, because I know y'all are doing stuff too. So I'm like, it's not my job to find out what you're doing, why you're doing it, who you're doing it with, because I'm over here, doing, living my life, and you're over there living your life. And especially if you have a family, I'm like, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm not anybody to be considered, important. So then, when I tried to move back to Alabama, my mom was treating me the same way. And if I yell or if I do something, they feel like they have to like discipline me or something. I'm like, how would you like it if I poisoned you? How would you like it if I hit you? Like, they just kept doing things to like try to make me have a reaction, try to be angry, try to like call me crazy, just a bunch of stuff to like put me down. And like with Felicia, when I had stopped talking to her, I think I had changed my phone number. Not because of her, but just in general, because I like, these people have families, they have more things going for them than I have, personally myself. So I just, put it off, like, they got bigger things going on in their life. Or I guess, like people making secret babies that they don't want people knowing about. Or, whatever the case is. Or people thinking like, trying to see like if I'm hiding a pregnancy, or trying to see if I'm hiding a man, like monitoring my phone calls, like just a bunch of stuff, right? So, I'm just like, I know y'all are doing y'all's thing. That's why I don't care. So I'm like, then you're monitoring me, and I'm not even monitoring you like to see how you're living your life or anything. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to go out of my way to see how you're living your life either. So, the fact that all this was done, and then, it's like somebody was trying to keep me in a cage, like telling me like, oh, you could have been a high-ranking official. And I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Like, you sign a contract. I signed the contract. I wasn't the best soldier. I wasn't the most perfect soldier. None of those things. When I realized, like, okay, Chandra, especially after the whole situation with Pete, after I woke up and realized, or Paniotis to Jonas, that, it was just like, they're basically like giving you what you want to, to make up for whatever they think that caused hurt in your life. But thank God, I'm like, at the end of the day, it's God or whoever the being is, the superior, your mind, that carries you through. And so now I've been people trying to get me to like do destiny swapping, like trying to like make me act like another person, like trying to get me to get my eyebrows tattooed, trying to get me to wear like a wig, trying to get me to like dress a certain way, trying to tell me women that stay at home get cheated on, trying to tell me like, like indirectly like saying stuff to me. And I'm like, you know, like I'm over it. Like I left a message on my uncle's voicemail, and I was like, if y'all just want me to drop the veterans benefits, I could do that, and then, you know, just not not say that I'm a veteran, not carry like the benefits of so-called being a veteran. I got people getting mad at me because I've been leaving dishes in the sink right now. Like, dishes in the sink don't define like whether, it's just like somebody saying like people that wear Jordans versus people that don't wear Jordans. It's the same thing like I just said in the last video. Ranch dressing versus vinaigrette dressing look like stereotypes. So, or now I know it's been like Felicia, like all the murmuring, like when I had got on a plane when I went to Puerto Rico for my birthday, because I was like, I'm tired of all these people like following me or like doing indirect things, people thinking that like I'm a drug dealer, like, or, you know, people thinking like, oh, my past, the way I used to be in the past wasn't the greatest. I know that. That's why I don't say nothing. And people thinking like I'm walking a straightforward life. No, I really just don't want to be, I can't be around anybody when I know that they're doing this to me. Like, who am I to you? Like, I'm not anybody important. I'm just a regular person. So now that I have went through all of this, it's sickening for somebody to make me feel like I'm the one that's sick and I'm the one that has the issue, when in reality, it was all these people monitoring me. Yes, I was going to church because I enjoy going to church, okay? No, you know, like, how can you tell somebody that, like the whole, like, having sex in the butthole, how can you justify that and then try to say, like, regardless of your religion, that it's justifiable when they tell you about like germs and they tell you about washing your hands and they tell you about like STDs and they tell you about gonorrhea and they try to tell you, like, somebody trying to tell me I have a dirty mouth because when I get angry, like when I've had enough and I've yelled, and you're trying to tell me that I'm impure, I'm the one that has the problem because you want to justify your wrongs on me because you wanted to like take me to a level of take me to the level to prove that I'm not pure. I never tried to act like I was pure. I was just doing my thing. Like, I was like, I know y'all out there doing what you do. I'm gonna do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't care to see what you were doing and how you were doing it. And I really, at the time, I wasn't trying to like, what's the word? Justify how you live your life, because you've been doing it and that's what you like to do and that's what you're gonna do. So I'm like, you know, people trying to tell me like, worry about yourself. I've been worried about myself. I've been taking care of myself. And when I was doing that, I was told that I'm stuck up, that I don't love, that I don't have a heart. Like, you think I'm about to go out of my way again and again and again and again and keep making myself look like a fool for somebody? No. And, you know, I'm supposed to look at you like you're superior to me. No, we're equal. And no, I'm not, like I said, I'm not angry. I don't have a slam book. I don't have none of that stuff. So, you know, I don't know what you want from me. It's low key given like Jeffrey, what's it called? Jeffrey Epstein. That's what it's given. That's what it's making me feel like. Like I'm a piece of meat that's being watched because of past interactions that I've had with men, or knowing that especially some of these Nothing against any of these older men that they've been doing this. And so now I'm being made to feel like I'm in the Jeffrey Epstein case, like there's a file on me or something like that. Like I said, when I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm in a relationship with somebody. Like, I'm not in a relationship with nobody. I'm not talking to anybody because somebody tried to like set me up, or like basically trying to tell me like, you need to get some hobbies, you need to hop around, like be a busybody. Like, I know how to go hiking, I know how to do different classes, I know how to sign up and go to the gym. I've done all that. Think about it. I joined the Army when I was 20. I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Like I said, I wasn't the best soldier. And then after Fort Sill, I went to Germany, and I wasn't even there that long because we went into a field problem. And then when we came out the field, we deployed in July. And even though I don't talk about it, it was a high stress environment. And, I was just like, my brain wasn't even on at that time. When I think about when I look back about everything that was around me, it's more to it than what I'm saying. And I haven't even went into details about it with anybody. And then when I left Germany, I went to Fort Campbell, and I was in a UAV unit. And then we deployed again, and this time we were split up into two, Bagram and Kandahar. And I went to Bagram, and one group went to Bagram, and the other group went to Kandahar. Crawford I never talked about this. He was in Kandahar. His last name was Crawford. He got hurt really bad, like his head cracked. He said that he fell off the back of the little white trucks on the airstrip, and he was rushed to. It's on the tip of my tongue. He was rushed to Germany, to Ramstein, to the hospital. And I seen him when we came back from deployment. I seen him. And then when I was in Afghanistan, the second time, my skin broke out really bad. Like, I had dark spots like all over my face. I don't know what that was. And I was being a busybody out there because I didn't want to sit around and think about too much, because I don't have anything against anybody of other nationalities, and certain things of that nature. But I think sometimes when you go places, especially in an environment like that, you don't want to be carrying like any hate, any animosity, outside of like protecting yourself if you need to. So, I didn't talk about my experience out there. And then when I came back, I left that unit, and I went down to a different company on Fort Campbell. And my platoon sergeant at that time, her name was Brochio Terry. She's still there in Clarksville. And, she did her platoon sergeant thing. I didn't really like cross her like that because I was exhausted, especially coming back from a deployment. And like I said, I wasn't the best soldier. I just did what I had to do. And then they were about to go on deployment again. That would have been my third deployment. And they asked me, did I want to go? But I told them no. And then when I told them no, right before I got ready to leave, my father died before I was about to go on leave. So I had to go to a funeral. And then I get to Fort Hood, and I was only in I think my aunt was sick. And then my auntie Rhonda passed away, and I went to her funeral. And I think by that time I started to become a little numb, because I'm like, it's just a lot of stuff like laying on me heavy, like heavy. And even though I didn't show it, I was just trying to be strong, because the people around me, everybody was just going through stuff, and I didn't want to look like or, because my dad had just died, and I kind of like started, bouncing back, and then my aunt passed away. And then when I went out there, I didn't want to like crowd around them too much, because my cousin, their mother had passed, and so she was really sad, and I was just trying to be like, I didn't want to like be, I guess I wasn't showing enough empathy, but I was like, I'm coming to see you guys, and I know how it felt when my dad passed away, and I'm like, don't cut up, don't act like that. So I kind of just stayed around, but not around like that, because I was like, don't act like that. And then, as I was getting out, I guess they were like, basically like trying to like throw somebody at me to like help me like get through my last couple of years at Fort Hood. And I lived in Temple, Texas, so I just, that was my safe haven. That was like my happiness. That was my, leaving work. And I'm not saying I did a lot as far as like what we did at Fort Hood, places that, we went. And then, as my contract was ending, they tried to see if I wanted to stay. But honestly, I didn't feel like going through none of that stuff no more. Like, I just wanted to be soft. Like, I didn't want to deal with none of that. Like, certain things I'm not going to talk about. I just didn't want to deal with it. Like, I was over it, outside of like stereotypes, female soldiers, like saying female soldiers are hoes, and like I was trying to clean myself up, because I'm like, you're already like, I didn't want to be living or have those stereotypes on me of like being a dirtbag. And then as I was getting out, my cousins were like, what is she gonna do? She's not done with college. And just saying a lot of stuff around me, and their kids could hear it, that last time when they came to visit me. And I was happy, because I felt like I had a relief, like I had a release. And I guess people felt like I hadn't felt hurt or lost compared to the people that had been, in the earlier years of like 9/11 and stuff like that. So I felt like, people were just trying to take it out on me, and then still trying to take it out on me, like thinking because I'm a woman and because I live by myself that I should be living closer to my family. Basically trying to like kill me slowly, like that type of thing, which is not right. Because I haven't went into none of my family members' houses. I haven't tried to poison them. I haven't tried to, like, they've made me mad. Like, I finally found my voice. I guess I feel like, okay, she found her voice, so that means like we can't be coming up against her, like talking crazy to her and stuff like that, because she's different now. She's not gonna tolerate like, like they'll be talking in code, and they'll be saying stuff, to try to hurt me. So, I've noticed that now, and I've recognized it. So I'm like, leave that over there. Leave that mean girl stuff over there, So, they're like basically like indirectly, some of them are indirectly still trying to like hurt me, or, think that I'm not, like I don't have a heart or something like that. That's not the case. I just don't want to go. I don't want to peel the layers back, because I've had enough of trying to feel guilty about things that I'm supposed to feel guilty about, and I tried to like keep a straight face, or give somebody a smile instead of like tears. You know what I'm saying, like that. Like I've had enough. Um, um, people that, like, I don't know anything about Sydney and his personal life or whatever. But when I came back from Afghanistan, one of my old coworkers from Fort Sill, Natalie, was like, "Oh, he's married now." And Moses, when I was in Afghanistan the first time, she told me like, "Oh, so and so got married or whatever." And when I said something to them about him being married, when I said something to him about getting married, he was like, "I'm going to the gym. Don't worry about what I do." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I just put it past me. And then I end up at Fort Campbell, and it gets brought up again to me, or somehow it gets brought up. Oh, I was talking about it with my old coworker or whatever. I don't know what I was in, as far as like people just wanting to see if I'm alive, so they'll just say something to like trigger me, to hurt me, because I try to like stay off to myself. Like once somebody kind of like let me know how they are, I was like, all right, cool, I'll just do my own thing. And I guess people wanted me to like stay relevant, so they had to do something to make me angry, or like when I was at Fort Campbell, I had like a brief interaction with a soldier. His name was Kenneth Rosario. And so I remember he was asking me like, "Do you see yourself as a mom? Do you see yourself having kids?" And I was just like, when we had went to the little water park with one of my other friends, Kelsey, at the time, I didn't bring a cooler. And, I just felt like the men were just looking for a woman that's like on her P's and Q's. Like, okay, if you see that I didn't bring a cooler, why didn't you bring up the idea to bring the cooler? Like, I can't be like this all the time, and the same thing happened with Pete. Like, we went to the beach. You want us to go down to Galveston? You want us to go to the beach? Like, okay, you need to have a brain too. Like, I'm not going to be acting like I'm the brains of the operation, because I'm just not. So if that's why I got my rating at 100%, because of observations that people had noticed, I'm not going to be on like that all the time. If that's how we want to go to the beach with no cooler, no tent, no music, no football, no frisbee to throw around, then we won't be going, because I'm not going out of my way. If you don't help us get to the beach, then however we get to the beach and what we do at the beach, that's what we're gonna do. So looking back, all those little games, so I'm done. I had enough. Like, I'm over it. So I just summarized everything in different little categories. And hopefully my slate is clean. Yes, Ariel, I know your whole government name, Francine Ariel Gonzalez / Tejada, even though you probably don't have that name anymore. Like, as far as like whoever, if you're married or something like that. Hopefully in the next couple of months, I can delete these videos. This is me at home, just chilling. I'm sorry if I don't have the sex appeal, or I'm not turning on the sex appeal. I don't want to. Like, the fact that I just had, like, I've been used, or I didn't know I'm supposed to ask a man for money in exchange for sex. That's why I said, is this the Epstein files or whatever you want to call it? Like I said, I don't operate like that. And I'm glad I didn't operate like that, because when I tell you I would have been hurting if I had let a man penetrate me in exchange for money, and it felt like the most grossest thing in my life, as far as like not having an interest, like a true interest in somebody. I'm so happy I didn't do that. I'm so happy I didn't expect that. And I guess that's why people are trying to say you need to ask for money from men, because I guess all of them ain't doing what, whatever sex is supposed to be. I didn't know that you were supposed to do that. But I'm so happy that I didn't, because now I realize why people do that. I'm done. I'm signing off. And that's that.